thank you for joining me for the first episode of the Michael Boothby Show. Yeah! Woo! In front of a live studio audience. And today, my guest on the show is Mr. Roman Boro.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yeah. Just got a massage and giving massages all day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've come over and given Sasha a massage. You work with Thai massage, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. How did you get into that?
Oh, man. Let's see. I was out in California, and I had made a little bit of money working in a goat farm.
A goat farm?
Yeah.
Okay, how'd you end up on the goat farm?
I went out to visit some friends in Willits,
Okay.
in Mendocino County, and when I was staying there, I would go to the farmers market
Okay.
in Willits, and I would just cruise and just see what all the farmers were doing. My intention for being out there was to learn more about gardening, learn more about green construction, like building with straw bale and clay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so so I was just checking out a lot of the different farmers and seeing what they were up to, and met this one woman that was selling goat cheese.
Okay. The best cheese.
The best cheese, raw goat cheese. It was perfect, and got to be friends with her, and she invited me in the next season to work on her farm for the season. So everything from goat tending to gardening to making fermented drinks and
like
edibles.
kombucha.
Yeah, making kombucha and jun, and also making sauerkraut and honey mead.
Honey mead. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Know your gardens.
Yeah, know your gardens. You've heard it here first, guys. So working on farms, and maybe let's go even a little bit further back. Were you always interested in working on farms, or what was the life of a young Roman? Were you Roman? The land?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I was here at the university in Chicago, and I was studying environmental science. And I was noticing that what I was studying was a lot of science for science sake. So, like taking down measurements and recording patterns and deducing possible causations and correlations, And it was just a little removed from what I wanted to do. Like, I definitely wanted to be involved with nature, and I wanted to be involved with the material world, meaning like, land, water, air, fire, trees, things like that.
The elements.
The elemental world.
Cool.
So after finishing college, I was like, okay, like I gotta head out to California. There were some friends inviting me to come out there and stay with them, so everything was set up. So that was kind of my sojourn to, after college,
Yeah.
A lot of times I feel like, there's a pressure, there's like a social pressure to go to college or to go to university, whether it's from your friends or from your parents.
I felt that for sure.
Yeah.
I think if I had it my way, I would have been a musician or an actor or something. My parents were like, yeah, go to college, and I ended up studying history, really practical. And then I used that, and I went and worked on a cruise ship, hosting guest activities. But I don't know, I feel like, it doesn't, you're going to do what you want to do, You're going to go where the wind takes you. And for me, it was a cruise ship in New Zealand, and for you, it sounds like it was the earth. It was farming, and yeah. So after college, so you kind of just you fell into kind of the traveling.
Yeah, I got to traveling and get to do all those things that I wanted to do when I came out to California, and got introduced to music festivals.
Oh,
and
cool.
In California, what's really cool about music festivals is that along with like awesome dancing and amazing bands and DJs, there's also really incredible workshops and information about different aspects of life that I had no clue existed. So that really opened me up and introduced me to a deeper connection to my emotions, to my energetic body, to the world as well, and how I can relate to it and commune with it. And
Cool.
it just blew my mind, man. And like I said, I had a little bit of money saved up from working at the farm, and I was actually at the Green Fest.
Okay.
And there was a healing arts area as part of the Green Fest, and everyone I walked around to just seemed a bit frazzled. But then I stopped by this one group of people who were practicing Barima.
Barima, what is that?
Barima is it's like a Sufi Turkish bodywork practice that's very minimal in the amount of force that you give, but very deep in the amount of relaxation and the traveling inwards that you get out of it. So so I took a treatment, and it was transformative, and then I wanted to learn more about it, so I went and studied with the Barima community.
Okay.
And when I came back to Chicago, I was offering the work to my friends and family, and one of my friends, Edita Malakuskaiti, she was at the time practicing Thai massage.
Okay.
So she was like, "Hey, man,
if you like that, you might really love this." Cool.
Exactly, yeah. And from then on, I went to Thai Bodywork, the School of Thai Massage, or Coaching the Body Institute, as they're called right now. So I got my Thai massage training.
Nice, and you've been massaging ever since?
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not something that is my primary source of income, something that I do full time, but it's definitely helped me explore other avenues of income and interest that I enjoy doing, ecstatic dance being one of them, and allowed me to still provide for myself sufficiently, you know?
Yeah, I think that's amazing. I want to talk more about that, about kind of like the diversification of income. 'Cause, I mean, I think that's something that a lot of people in our community are kind of, looking to do, whether they're teaching yoga, also, writing and speaking, and, I know I'm kind of in the process right now where, I'm writing a book about dating, I'm trying to get into coaching, and just kind of like all these different things. It's very different from that kind of traditional 9 to 5. And I guess, did you ever have a 9 to 5?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I had a bunch of 9 to 5s, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Because I've had a few shitty jobs in my time here in Chicago, but yeah, let's go back to that. So is this like kind of out of college, or?
Yeah, let's see. In college, I was working for the department.
Okay.
Which was great.
At the university?
Yeah, at the
university.
That's
great, yeah.
Yeah, I was working for the environmental science department, so that proved to be really convenient, and it wasn't 9 to 5. I got to really...
Tina says, fuck 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's the only thing that's out there.
Yeah.
And then I've definitely spent time in the food service industry, being a waiter, doing room service for a hotel.
If you guys are just joining the podcast, we're talking about shitty jobs that we used to have.
I mean, they weren't that bad. But I've definitely sworn off the food industry. I'm not working in the food industry. It's not for me.
Yeah, I've actually, I'm like pretty embarrassed about this, but like my first job was my last semester of my senior year of college, and that was being a delivery driver for Jimmy John's. And that was a humbling experience, because I kind of graduated, and then here I was, and I had this degree, and then I was going delivering sandwiches to people. Like, I have a degree, I'm gonna be someone. And then it's like every day passed, I'm working and seeing my manager, and I'm like, oh no, is this life? Am I gonna be him? And that fear sets in. But obviously, then I got the call to work for Royal Caribbean, but. Yeah, I know it's fun, and sometimes you're in those 9 to 5s or those day jobs, and you get that fear comes in of oh God, am I gonna be stuck here? And yeah, maybe did you ever feel that, and if so, what kind of got you out of that?
Yeah, there is a sense of immediacy you know, sometimes you're in this thing and you're like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? Like, this is it. Like, you know what I mean?
I know it, yeah.
And the interesting is that as soon as I started doing more of the work that I wanted to do, you know, those same feelings and emotions came back. You're like, can I do this? This is so difficult right now.
Yeah.
And sticking out through it has taught me that there's so much time. There's so much time, and there's so much time that I have to sense into things and feel into things and make the right choices, and you know that. There's always time. There's always time, and patience. Patience sometimes proves to be like one of the greatest virtues of all.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It's
It's a tough one, you know, because we have our dreams and we want it all now, and you know, then we have setbacks, and I don't know though. You always think like, you know, if you had your dream right now, you know, you probably wouldn't even want it. You'd be sick of it.
Well, I mean, I think it's great when you work towards it, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great when it you build onto it, it accumulates, it builds upon itself, you know, because then there's fulfillment, you know. It's like if you've ever fixed anything in your home, like, you know, you open that door that didn't used to shut, now you're shutting. You feel so good about it, and like your relationship to it is deepened because of the work you've put into it. So
yeah, just it's the process, you know. It's like having that vision and then working towards it, because you do it in the hopes that you get to this place, but you know that when you get there, like, there's another dream that's going to open up for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I guess with that in mind, you know, what's you have some dreams right now that you're working on?
Yeah, some of my dreams right now is to do more traveling, to be more mobile. So, looking into getting ecstatic dance to be more self-sustained, with other people doing the work that I've been doing now, and making it so that it can function without me personally being there.
Yeah.
And which is, I've done it before. It was in a smaller scale, when the dance was in a smaller scale. Yeah. And it's worked, you know. But now that it's expanding and becoming larger and larger, you know, it's a little more interesting in terms of how to have it be conducted without me being there. So.
You gotta go on Facebook Live and project your face onto the screen. Hello everyone, Roman here from Hawaii. Just here to lead the dance. That's awesome. Well, that's amazing. I actually had an opportunity. It just kind of came to me because I'm gonna be in Colorado for much of the next 3 months doing a leadership training. So I'm gonna be kind of driving back and forth between Chicago and Durango. But I'm going to be living out there a lot, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do for money? You know, I thought about getting a part-time job out there, and I was at a party the other night at the Emerald Palace, and I was just sitting there, and this woman messaged me, and she was like, hey, I'm looking for brand ambassadors to, you know, staff this event in Chicago for, like, the lottery or something. I was like, well, you messaged the right person. Like, I know so many brand ambassadors, and then I ended up calling her the next day, and she's like, yeah, we'll send you a contract. So now it's like I have this job, this is scheduling for these events, and I can do it anywhere. Nice. So yeah, right? That's so it's amazing. Like opens up that kind of, like that travel, but also not being tied down to a location, which is, you know, that's what I'm thinking about right now all the time. So yeah, what are some ideas that you have, or perhaps to, you know, maybe not even just ecstatic dance, but like, you know, any other business ventures or creative ideas rolling around?
Yeah, I definitely was thinking about helping train people on how to start their own ecstatic dances.
I think that's a really great idea.
And really come at it from like a community standpoint. So how do you create community and not just a business? Yeah. Because that's been like a really strong point in my development of this organization, is how can the community dictate and be as involved as possible in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something very powerful about creating community. And I've been to a few ecstatic dances, and it has that vibe, that family vibe. You know, you go there, you see people dancing, you know, doing their thing, but then you also see families. You see little kids there, and it's just like this really open environment. I think I think Josh said back in Hawaii they called it like dance church, and I love that because it has that vibe, that communal vibe, and you know people leading workshops, and it's like this is better than the church that I knew growing up. You know, the church I went to was an old guy. His name was Father Caverly, and he went, "Let us proclaim the mystery of faith." And then they talked in that monotone voice, and it was so boring. And I was like, well, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I think ecstatic dance is the church of the future, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It could totally be that.
Yeah.
It could totally be that. Yeah, definitely a way for us to connect internally, connect to, you know, or for me at least, and for others that have spoken to me about it, for sure, a way to connect internally and connect to a greater sense of something that resides within or near, you know, that you can commune with and experience with and receive energy from and feel like it's lifting you up, you know,
Yeah.
it feels like it's filling you with energy, you know, this like the direct connection to like be getting plugged in.
Yeah,
you know,
right, to
know,
that source, that creativity, just that energy. Yeah, it's I struck a blank. I had a question and I just lost it.
Yeah, so you know, some of the other things I was interested in doing more of is singing and performing.
Okay.
You know, because I definitely feel that my purpose, or the purpose that I've been wanting for myself, is to assist in the connection to the highest potential of the human experience for myself and for others.
Yeah.
So ecstatic dance is one of those, and I feel also that at times when I can be singing or performing or connecting into that source energy through another creative expression, then you know, just by doing that and having others around me that are participating with me in some sort of way, whether it's just by listening or just by witnessing, that I can share that connection or the possibility of connection with others, you know?
Yeah.
I know that kirtan, Sanskrit call and response chanting, does that for me.
Yeah,
or
powerful.
even like getting together with a group of people and like humming or making song together or harmonizing does that to me. Yeah, improv is one of those too.
I love my roommate Mitch. We're always kind of hanging out, jamming, and just like improvising songs. You know, there's something about you just have an idea and you take it and you just turn it into this thing, and from that, you know, inside jokes abound, and just you have these silly moments. You know, it's that discovery, and I think it's that discovery is what we crave, because I think we lack that so much in you know, in our culture, in our day-to-day lives. The 9 to 5, it's like you show up. I think that's why it drives people crazy, because you know exactly what you're getting every day, and it's just so monotonous. Most of it's pointless. Like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have some spontaneity in the structure, you know?
Yeah.
Like, for me, structure is great. Like, don't get me wrong, sometimes I wish I had a 9 to 5.
Right.
Just so somebody can tell me what to do.
Yeah, there is
take the weight off.
There's comfort in that, exactly.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. When, you know, I've been facing that recently. You know, I'm kind of making this push towards, you know, self-employment, and I mean, I think it's empowering, because it's like I'm getting to write and to, you know, go on camera and talk to people, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you know, you wake up in the morning, and if you kind of not sure what you're doing, you could do nothing all day, you know, or be like, oh, what's my next step? Whereas at work, you're like, this is my job, I do this, I get this much money, and I can go live my life.
Right, exactly.
You know, so,
yeah, being accountable to yourself is like one of the hardest things that I've found to be out there.
Yeah. Do you have any kind of strategies or anything that you use to kind of keep yourself focused?
Yeah. I think that expressing more self-love and self-appreciation keeps me more accountable to myself, you know? Because if I tell myself that, like, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, if I'm not doing it, that is, like, completely opposite of expressing, you know, self-love. You know, it's like, oh, like, you know, if I truly want these things and I truly love myself, then I'll give myself these things. So that's been one of my helping.
I love that. No, I think self-love is so important, and something that I'm always working on, because you know, I mean, I spent a lot of the last year, you know, very depressed, and you know, from some guidance, you know, from some, you know, ceremonies and breath work, I kind of uncovered, you know, got some self-awareness, and I learned that I was really harsh with myself, you know, exactly, like if I said I was going to do something and then I didn't do it, I would just beat myself up over it, you know, and it was like, well, where does that come from? And then you kind of keep digging, you're like, well, I don't need to do this, and then it's like, so then you show up one day and you're like, oh, I didn't do the thing, and you're like, oh, it's okay, because I still love myself. And then I think with that, you're able to bounce back a lot quicker. And not put yourself, because when you put yourself down, it's like you're just useless. You're just sitting there, sitting in bed. Oh, poor me, you know. And it's, I don't know. I guess there's a comfort in that though as well. You know, when we tell ourselves that like, we can't do something, or you know that, oh, poor me, then it's like we get that kind of victim mindset, and there's comfort in that as well. You know, and I think. We're definitely a society or a culture that chases comfort. We kind of avoid pain, you know. And I don't know, you know, someone who, you know, practices massage, the release of pain. You know, I don't know. Maybe could you speak on any times in your life where like you kind of had to go into that pain, or what did you learn from it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I got a treatment from Nicole Davis, and she was just brutal with me. I mean, she was like doing these things where she was like just pushing on a single point with her, you know, needle-like fingers. And these points were so achy, and I was screaming and tossing and turning. And not only that, she was having me like engage the muscles that she was pressing on. So it was like some like intense, ridiculous. I was screaming, but it lasted like 30-40 minutes, and then coming out of it, like I feel so much more relief. Like it's been like already an hour since the body work, and I'm feeling the relief. So you know, the question is like, how much are you getting pushed, right? How much are you struggling and suffering, and then in the same situation, how much are you being nurtured? Right?
Wow, I see. I love that. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, so as long as the nurture is just like a little bit above the suffering, I feel like it's worth it. But sometimes you don't have a choice.
No.
Sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes it's like you're getting very little nurture and a lot more pain.
Suffering,
You know, but like, and you're aware of it and you see it, and it's like you don't have a choice. You know, and there's like an old Buddhist saying, it's like, well, if you can't do anything about it, then why suffer?
Right? You just accept it.
You just accept it, and you make the best of it.
I think,
which is great with self-love too, you know, because it's like, in any moment, like where you're being harsh on yourself, or like you may be critical, or you may be sad or something like that, self-love can be applied in any moment. You don't have to like wait to be
it's always
happy.
There for you,
right? You can always use it.
We talked about that at the training I was out in Colorado, the level 2 training. We talked about that. We were just talking about love, you know, and how, you know, love, it's like everyone's trying to like, oh, do they love me, you know, am I loved? And it's like, really, love is it's always there for you. It's always there if you just open to feeling it, you know. And so it's like that we give ourselves the self-love. But, you know, and this is something I've been kind of giving myself homework, trying to push myself to do, is just telling people I love them more. Because that word used to scare me. Like when I was in high school or college, I'd be in a relationship, I love you, oh no, and I feared it. But now it's like, I just try to tell everyone I love them, because I think everyone needs to hear that. And you can tell someone you love them, and their whole day might be made just from that one comment, and now they have that love with them, and now they're gonna go give that love, and it just cascades, you know. I think it's like my favorite comedian, Bill Hicks, always said, he's like, you know, every day we wake up, we have a choice between love and fear, you know, and you see a lot of fear in the world, you know. I think, you know, our president right now is someone who loves fear mongering, you know, and build the wall and this and that, and it's like, fear is, it's seductive, you know. It's powerful. It controls people. It's easy to get drawn into it, and I think sometimes it's harder to love, especially when you're in so much hate. But I think because of that, now it's more important. Love is more important now than ever, you know. Which I know that sounds so cliche, but I believe it to be true, and that's why I think you know, as a founder of Ecstatic Dance, you created this event that's just a love fest, you know? You just come in, there's no judgment. People can just express themselves and talk and hang out and receive, you know, Reiki and energy work and body work, and it's so amazing. So I guess now it would be a good time to just circle back around to, you know, Ecstatic Dance. Like, how'd you fall into that? And how and why did you decide to start one here?
Yeah, well, it was, once again, it was one of those things with going out to California and being introduced to a dance practice there. And you know, I found Ecstatic Dance at the Oakland Ecstatic Dance, which, you know, the Oakland founders, learned about it in Hawaii, and in Hawaii it was a combination of Gabrielle Roth's work, who was the founder of Five Rhythms, and
what is Five Rhythms?
It's another dance practice that engages participants in movement within 5 different specific rhythms. So there's some guidance around the work, and there's some group activities that can be done, and the rhythms are like staccato, which is kind of like, you know, robot movement, ninja movements, lyrical, which is more associated with like the heart and air, flow, which is more watery and sensual, chaos, which is just like real fiery, like, and stillness, which is like very meditative, almost no movement whatsoever. So that was combined, or the inspiration from that was combined with modern electronic music.
Okay. Yeah.
And a journey was created in terms of, you know, the introduction, like the landing, you're arriving, and then the build up into a peak, and then there may be several more waves of music, and then it comes down, builds down, and enters into a conclusion with tranquility and peacefulness again. So similarly, it provides different energetic aspects of music through which you can experience and have different forms of movement arise from you based on those aspects of music.
Wow.
Yeah. So I learned about it there, but before that, I learned about Kundalini ecstatic dance.
I didn't know that was the thing.
Yeah,
that was
amazing. The thing. That was the thing. That was a combination of dance, movement, breath work, visualization, chakra work, and bringing energy into places in the body where it would shake up old emotions or traumas, and then you would have the opportunity to move through them, and at the end there was an aspect of opening up your heart and accepting the parts of you that showed up in the dance, right? So it didn't really matter whether you allowed something to move out or you had just brought it up to the surface. If you did move out, then the space got filled with love and heart energy, and if it just moved up to the surface, then you were able to reprogram your emotional experience around what was being brought up to the surface. A lot like with EFT, the tapping technique. Basically,
I'm not super familiar with that.
So the idea is similar in that is you bring up a memory or an emotion or a trauma to which you have a very adverse sensory experience to, and then you reprogram it with a different sensory experience. So, for instance, feeling in joy or in bliss, or opening up your heart to these things that come up, so that if it's to show up again, it would be easier for you to be with it and to let it move through your body, because your relationship to it is based or founded on a different emotion. Aside from fear or anger, it may be more from like love or self-acceptance or forgiveness, right? So it's like basically reprogramming yourself.
That's cool.
To help you to help you be yourself.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, we're always reprogramming. I love that kind of model of consciousness that, like we have these bodies and brains, and it's like the hardware, and then we have like the software, which is kind of our beliefs and, the stories we tell ourselves and our thoughts. And I think the kind of most transformational body work I've undergone is the structural integration, which was, I think, invented by Ida Rolf in the 70s. And we have a guy who comes here, his name's Chris Rush, and he works on people the whole weekend. There's screams coming from the basement, but then you're like, people are getting healed,
Exorcisms.
Yeah, exorcisms, right? To get the demons out. Yeah, for sure. And I've been in that position too. And then, I think similar to kind of the experience that you shared earlier, where it's like, gosh, when it's happening, it's so painful. But then as soon as he's, takes his hands off you, there's no more pain. And then you're kind of walking around, you're like, oh my gosh, I was holding that tension there my whole life. And then like now it's gone. And it's like really, really magical work, really amazing. And it's just, it blows my mind that someone in the 70s was like, trauma is stored in the body, and if you go like this and all through the body, then we can release it, and then also get people to sit up straighter and have more, literally, integrity in their spine. So cool. I didn't know much about body work before I moved to Chicago. I knew like Swedish massages, but when I kind of fell into it, I was like, man, there's so many different modalities, and it's just amazing the amount of healing that comes out of it, I'm someone who's very interested in alternative healing practices. Actually, in today of all days, for the past few months, I was enrolled in a bipolar research study. So I've been taking experimental medication for bipolar depression. And back in November, it's like when I enrolled into the 6-month kind of open label, it came in at a time that I really needed it, and it was really, really helpful. And I talked to the doctors last week, and I went to this training, and I'm kind of getting all these tools, and I had some days where I could really feel the medicine kind of making me drowsy, and I was kind of ready to be done with it. And so I messaged them yesterday, and they're like, all right, well, go off of it for a week and come in next Monday, and we'll see. So this is like my first day kind of off the medication, and I'm just kind of, I think, being diagnosed as bipolar, it's made me more aware of my moods and how I'm feeling. And I don't know, I think it just makes me think, like, could something like that awareness just be taught to people, and like stuff like ecstatic dance, like could dance be prescribed to people as a cure, and like in addition with this body work,
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think, for the level of prescription, there's got to be research around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's got to be research around it. I mean, look at what's happening with CBD and cannabis.
Yeah, right.
And how it's, at one point it was seen as, demonic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was
Reefer
so
madness.
much propaganda around
yeah.
it, right? And then, like, all of a sudden, all this research is starting to come in, and the legislators and the lawmakers are seeing the validity of the fact that there is like an actual health benefit in this. And it's interesting that before the whole attack and the war on cannabis, like it was so widely used. I mean, the pilgrims that came to this country were growing it. It was being used for fiber. It was being used for oil. It was being used for food, the seeds. It was being smoked to help relieve stress and relieve pain.
Yeah.
So it was it's kind of like a miracle, a plant. Like it can be used for so many things. You know what I mean?
It just makes me wonder, like, what other plants are out there? Like, that stuff's being grown naturally on the earth that could have these wonderful healing properties that we have no idea about.
Well, I mean, think about pharmaceuticals.
Right.
And what all that is the concentration and the extraction of specific plant matter to be put into a pill that can be what's the word I'm looking for? Patented.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So you have the rights to produce it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's not about a commerce that is focused on the highest good.
Finding the solution.
It's commerce that's focused on the highest profit margin.
Yeah, which, I mean, I could go on and on about that, just how I believe, I mean, I think, we have this system, capitalism, and it exists to make a profit, but, we're kind of at the precipice now. Well, we're kind of running out of resources, and climate change is happening, and yet we still have all these, businesses and companies operating from the status quo. And I'm someone who eventually, I would like to start a company, kind of training corporations to lead from the heart. And it's like I think we're at this time where it's like we need to stop chasing profit, because where does that ends with destruction, with nothing,
Yeah, I think that when you have stockholders, and people are expecting their money to go up in value and things as such, it's a tricky game to step into.
Yeah.
What's helped me with running Ecstatic Dance as a business is definitely focusing on community and asking, like, what does the community need and what does the community want,
Yeah, I guess that makes me think, it's like, maybe is there a new type of business that could be created that operates more like a community than a hierarchy?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's not-for-profits.
There's co-ops.
There's co-ops.
That's the thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if you're just making a business and you're providing something that people actually need, like you're actually offering something that is a need, rather than trying to create need for what you're offering.
Right, which happens so often in this system.
That's already
life alert and this, and it's like, what is all this?
It's already a good start, It's like, you can say that, we need more oil for cars, because that's how goods get transported, that's how we transport ourselves, but we're seeing that there's alternatives, right? So if there's alternatives and they're healthier for us and they're healthier for the planet, then that's the need, right? It's like we should move to like technologies that are more sustainable, and in the long run, they're more sustainable for us, for our children, for the future, for this planet. It's like, why not? Like, why?
Exactly.
Why would we be polluting the air and the waters and the land that, like, these bodies are made out of? We're made out of this planet, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like we're made out of the water. We're made out of the earth, like, so let's keep those materials organic, right? The highest quality.
Keep it natural. Keep it real. Keep it real.
Keep it real.
I feel like that should be the slogan of the 21st century. Keep it real. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think this is the time. I think where we need inspired leadership. I know it's something like I aspire to. If I make a small fortune from anything that I do, I want to invest it into helping the planet, into helping people, because I feel, we have the system capitalism, and if I'm gonna play the game and win, I'm not gonna keep doing what's been done, because it doesn't work. I mean, it works for like one person, but I don't think it's a sustainable model. And I think the more people we have who have money and who have big hearts, that's how we can start to make a movement and make a change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
something to aspire to, I
Yeah,
think.
social responsibility,
Yeah.
economic responsibility, environmental responsibility.
Yeah. Tina says, let's make America real again. Heck yeah, Tina. I agree. Let's make it
Nice.
real.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe, okay, so I feel like we still didn't get into it. So, circling back around again, and we kind of talked about it throughout the broadcast, but why ecstatic dance? And why Chicago? And how did it come about? And we've been tangenting, beautiful tangents, but let's get back to the roots. How did it start? And because you created this whole movement here, this big fun event full of love and dance and expression. And I'm sure it probably started out much smaller, and it just kind of grew. So I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, so learning about Kundalini ecstatic dance and bringing it back to Chicago, and I had tremendous help from the Burning Man community here in Chicago that offered me a space and the sound system to do my practicum, which is basically the practice for the dance, and have been such a huge support for this work in Chicago ever since I started. Talk about family and roots, this is what I love about Chicago, or my experience of it. It started out slowly. Like my practicum, when I was offering the classes for free, were some of the most attended early classes of mine, and then everything from there was just kind of like here and there. It was kind of like hit or miss.
Yeah.
And that started in 2007,
Wow.
and I guess like the only thought that comes up is like the dance business. I didn't choose the dance business. The dance business chose me.
Okay. I love that. Yeah.
I mean, with ecstatic dance the way it is now, I've always remembered how much transformation and how many life lessons were served to me on that dance floor, and how I was supported by the other dancers, and how much I was able to evolve and grow just by being in that space. And after becoming a massage therapist, one of the things that kept coming up to my mind is I want to affect more people with an hour of my time. I get to work on one person for an hour, hour and a half, and they feel great. But how can I affect more people? How can I affect maybe it's becoming a singer, or maybe it's like creating a space for community to gather, or maybe it's creating a space where self-expression and authentic expression can be practiced freely, can be honed, can be more connection, and a deeper relationship can be established to that, So a yoga teacher friend of mine, Rich Logan, I proposed to him when the Daybreakers events were popping up. I was like, hey Rich, why don't we do like a 6 a.m. thing at your yoga studio? And he's like, no, we're not doing anything at 6 a.m. And I was like, okay, how about 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, well I got Sundays free. So we just started doing these dances 9 a.m. Sunday morning. And it was like a labor of love, You'd have to wake up at 7 a.m., go pick up a bunch of orange juice at Mariano's, make it down to Rich's, set up the space, and we did that for a while. And it grew and it grew. And it just so happened that every time we needed to expand or get a bigger sound system or get a bigger space, the resources were just readily available. They were kind of just offered, And to me, it's a sense that the dance itself there's an energy around it. It's a being, right? And it's a being, and it manifests. It was brought into existence, and now it's being brought into existence, and the more that it's being brought into existence, the more of an actual life of its own that it has. So when things like venues show up and sound systems show up, I almost feel like I'm being asked to do half the work. You know, and the dance does the other half. So in a way, just like being like, I'm a servant of this practice, you know.
You're the bringer of the dance, you know. Yeah, that's special. That's something really cool about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I constantly have to check myself, you know.
Yeah.
Constantly have to check myself and make sure I'm in alignment. Because if I'm out of alignment, things don't work as easily.
Yeah, the balance, that we talked about earlier. You know, the stress and the self-care. You know, because I'm sure, managing, a group like this and an event, all these events, it can get pretty stressful. You know?
It can, and what I've learned is a lot of the stress is self-imposed.
Yeah.
A lot of the stress is self-imposed. So one of the things I said to myself recently is like, how can I have more fun doing this?
That's great.
You know, and if like I'm putting stress on myself, I'm like, hey, that's not fun. Like,
what am I doing?
I don't need this.
Quit that shit.
I don't need this. Like, how can I have more fun? Like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of having some fun, we have about 10 more minutes left, and one of the last times you came over here, we did a little improv, and we came up with that phrase, wolf dentist.
Oh, wolf dentist. Yeah.
And so I was wondering if you would entertain me right now and do a little 10 minutes of improv as a wolf dentist.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
I
could try.
You know what? We'll just maybe. Hey, whoever's watching, if anyone wants to give us a word, any word at all, we're gonna just do a little improvised conversation based off of that word. I almost said wolf. Based off that wolf, as wolf dentist. So if you're watching right now, just comment with a word, any word that's on your mind right now. Just type it out, and it's gonna appear here on the laptop, and I'm gonna be waiting for that. I think there's a bit of a delay, which I haven't been able to figure that out. It's like you say things, and then it's like a minute later, it's like, oh, but let's just we'll give it a minute and see if it catches up, and if it doesn't, I'll just give us a word, and we'll just kind of go. I like the wine glasses. So
that's the only thing I drink out of.
Cool. Well, I don't know if I quite have the viewership yet. The feed that's just going like the.
We asked for a word, and I think we just lost somebody. They're like, oh shit, they're putting us in the spot.
I gotta go. Yeah, I always see like those live YouTube streams. Like there's like the lo-fi hip hop one, and like the comments are just like, or like those Twitch streamers, like those gamers, and they have a Twitch stream with comments, and it's just like so fast you can't even see anything.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I aspire to that. That's almost too much. But maybe like, I would aspire to get like a viewership of like 30 people watching. Like that would be pretty cool,
That would be really cool, man. I think that's a great vision to have in mind, man.
Yeah.
Just like, how does that make you feel? Like, like all of a sudden there's 30 people.
Just like hanging on to your live video. I think that's 30. I think 30 is a good goal. Maybe that'll be my goal for like from now until April, because I've already booked up almost half of March with all sorts of people. We're just gonna come on. Most of it's going to be kind of virtual, so I'll just be bringing this like a light and my phone and just setting it up anywhere, and then I can bring people on the broadcast, which is great because I can interview people anywhere in the world. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Mobility, man.
Mobility, exactly, right?
Mobility is key.
The dream. So let's just This is in my face, so the word that's coming to me is plant.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of like just fall into plant.
Okay, so who are you? Are you the patient coming to the wolf dentist? Or
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, office? I think you're the wolf dentist.
Yeah.
And I'm a patient.
Okay, so everyone that's just joined us. we're gonna be doing a little improv.
A little improv as Wolf Dentist, and Roman is the Wolf Dentist, and I'm a patient, and our word is plant. We're just gonna let that inspire the scene as it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, ready? And scene.
Hello, Michael.
Oh, hey, Wolf Dentist.
Yeah, nice to see you in my office again.
Yeah, I got a canker sore.
Oh! Canker sore.
Oh yeah, it's been causing some damage this week. You know, I've been trying to go to class and pay attention, and I just keep touching my canker sore. And you know, Wolf Dentist, you're the only dentist around that can heal canker sores.
Well, look at my teeth, Michael. Look at them.
Wow.
Come on, touch them, Michael.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Almost bit your finger there. I don't want to get too close.
I love the excitement when I come in here.
Yeah, that's why I'm the Wolf Dentist.
Yeah, you are. You're the Wolf Dentist.
I got these good teeth.
My favorite thing about your office is that you don't even use tools.
No, I just use my teeth. You know, you open your mouth, I dig in there a little bit, you know. It's cool. I'm all clean. You know, the wolf saliva is really the cleanest, most antibacterial, antiseptic, antifungal bacteria ever. I actually sell it here.
Oh, wow.
In this bottle here. Wolf Dentist Saliva.
Wow, I see you're doing buy one, get one free.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
I definitely would like some.
You know, I salivate a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you just keep a funnel right over there. I see.
Yeah, I wipe it into my fur and then just kind of wring it out, you know. So, it's good stuff, Michael.
Oh, yeah.
You don't worry about it. That canker sore will be gone in no time.
Yeah, can you explain the procedure for me?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's fairly simple, Michael. You see, you open your mouth, and I get real close, and then I open my mouth, and then I just... and that's all there is to it, man. That's all there is to it.
You're on the cutting edge of dentistry.
I am the Wolf Dentist.
You are the Wolf Dentist.
It is the truth.
All right. Cool. That was so much fun. Scene. How much money I would pay to see. I think Wolf Dentist, it's like a cartoon on like Adult Swim. You know?
Yeah.
But just like, I just would love to see all the people coming in with these like dental problems, and then he has these wacky, zany solutions, but then they always end up getting a little bit more than they bargained for.
They always leave like maimed with their faces all like muddy, but then they smile and their teeth are like perfect. Like, thank you, Wolf Dentist.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure this bleeding will stop soon.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, guys. Wolf Dentist coming to Adult Swim this fall.
Watch out.
By,
Comedy Central.
Comedy Central, the Michael Boothby show. Hey, I'm coming for you.
That's right, Comedy Central.
Hey, keep us in mind. The Wolf Dentist. We need. I love cartoons. I feel like, especially like, I love Adult Swim because they made like cartoons cool again, like for adults. And even I think this is totally random, but I remember when I was a kid, like I think Family Guy ran for 3 seasons on Fox, and then it was canceled, and then it had like the second life on Adult Swim, and it was so popular that Fox brought it back, and now it's like still running. It's like The Simpsons now, but it's like I don't know what I'm trying to get at. It's like this redemption, or kind of here's this thing that was kind of like on this mainstream media network, and then it gets put into this smaller one, and then it blows up because of a different audience,
Yeah, sometimes the fringe stuff doesn't work very well in mainstream. And
it's
like, we need you, Comedy Central. You make the fringe mainstream.
Yeah, we bring all those countercultural ideas into the mainstream culture, and now we're swimming with the sharks,
Yeah, I mean, look at all the comedy news shows that are out there now. It's like, I feel like, Saturday Night Live really kind of started it, but then like Comedy Central, Daily Show, Colbert
Report.
That was like
Samantha
where it blew up, you know?
Yeah, that whole kind of genre. Yeah, because I guess your SNL was like Weekend Update, and then people just started making whole shows that were just Weekend Update.
Yeah.
And just killing it, you know? Yeah, those are... I think my favorite, probably newest one of those is like the Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. You ever watch it?
Yes. I have. I love John Oliver. I love his English.
Yeah, he has that kind of I don't know that I don't know how to describe it.
He's like contained, but like a wild menace at the same time.
Yeah, He at any time he'll just like lose his mind, but he always kind of brings it back.
Brings it back.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Well, you know, we're about at an hour. You know, I guess before we go, I mean, obviously. I know you've got some events to plug.
Oh yeah, so we've got an Ecstatic Dance here in Chicago at the Shambhala Meditation Center at 37 North Carpenter this Saturday, February 23rd, from 6:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. We have an incredible DJ, Striz, which is a longtime Chicago DJ, part of the Ill Measures crew, one of the founders of the Freakeasy, and a lot of people don't know, but he has a massive collection of music that he rarely gets to play, because Chicago is a house music scene, and if you've seen Striz in rare form, he would be playing acid jazz and hip hop and rare grooves that are just like something that, you know, is a treat to hear, especially in the Chicago house music scene. So we're having him do an ecstatic dance journey, 2.5 hours of also house music, but also other music that can fulfill the needs for those different energetic qualities. And then the next dance will be March 9th at the Second Unitarian Church. At
place.
Yeah,
it's a cool space.
Saw you there last time.
Yeah.
At 656 West Barry from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. I can't think of who the DJ is for the 9th, but I know it's probably somebody really awesome. I should probably make sure that that's the case.
Yeah, we can always you know, after this, you can kind of go in the comments and just add the events for everyone to have.
But we present every second and fourth Saturday of the month. Yeah. Usually at the church on the first Saturday and at Shambhala on the fourth.
Nice, yeah. You guys, if you haven't been to Ecstatic Dance, you got to check it out. If you live in Chicago, it's one of the most fun events. It's a party. It's a celebration of life. You get to dance, express yourself. There's workshops. You know, it's really incredible. So definitely check it out. And you know, if you took the time to watch this whole broadcast, I want to thank you for watching the first episode of the Michael Boothby Show. And I also have an ask, because I will be leaving next Wednesday. I'm going to get packing in my car, going to Durango for a leadership training, and I'm actually raising funds to cover the tuition and to cover the travel costs between Chicago and Durango. I'll be driving there 3 round trips, so about a total of 132 hours of driving. So I'm asking my friends and family and community for support. So in the comments below, I'm going to post my GoFundMe. And if you watch this whole video and you make it to the end, I would appreciate your support. That's all I got. It's Tuesday night, February 19th, 2019. And this has been The Michael Boothby Show.